Hello everyone, welcome so much for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. We have three fantastic filmmakers with us who are waiting to come on live.
Waiting in the wings.
Yes, they are. So I'm joined with Claire, I'm Natalie, and I've got Rupert on my lap, so I'm just going to apologise in advance if he does bark at all during this chat. But everyone seems to love him, so he keeps making reappearances on these
He's part
chats.
of the team.
He's part of the team now. Yeah.
It would be rude not to invite him on.
Although you can barely see him, he is right here.
He asks to come on our live streams and then falls asleep. Unbelievable.
It's rude, isn't it?
Yeah, terrible.
Okay, so we have got filmmakers who are taking part in the New York Lifter Film Festival at this moment in time. They are from different programs within the festival, so we're kind of covering every area that we are screening. So without further ado, I'm delighted to announce Edalberto, and also Kartik. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us this afternoon. And I know some of you are based in South America, or Central America, sorry. So it's an early start for you, Alberto.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello. So we kind of had a little chat before we went live this morning to make it run smoothly. So we're going to start with Alberto. Why don't you introduce your film, tell us a little bit about yourself as a filmmaker and what it is that you're aspiring to do within the film industry.
Hi everyone, good morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the festivals and the Lifto for the opportunity to talk to a big audience. My film is Chico Heron and the Last 42. Basically, it's the story of the mentor of Mariano Rivera, a big baseball player, and also a guy that broke through the racism in the 40s and 50s. So basically, it's on the selection, so you can check it out. A little bit of my career, I've been in the industry since I'm 8 years old. I come from a producer family, so I was always jumping on sets, carrying sandbags, moving lights. So I kind of moved through every department since I was a young kid. And actually, when I got 18, 19, I decided to take my film studies. So basically, I went first to the United States in the main photographic workshops where I studied. Then I came back to my country, and then I flew out again to Prague in the Czech Republic and studied in Film Film School. So since then I came back to Panama in 2003, and I started my own production company. So since then, like everybody here, I'm sure, struggling in the film industry and trying to tell the stories. It's passion. I always say it's passion. If you don't have passion for this, you can forget about it.
Yeah, so that's for sure.
Main mojo, it's not the money, it's not the fame or anything like that. It's the passion that I have to tell the stories. And I kind of being focused on the stories that, surround my country, because, we're a really small country and really unknown in the film industry at all. But we do have some really amazing stories like Chico Heron and the Last 42.
Yeah, and actually, we go to all the film markets, and Panama are starting to put their stamp on the film markets as well. So everywhere has their own tent for their country, where they represent the films that are coming out of their country. And last year when we were in Cannes, and also in AFM, and actually at EFM this year, I remember seeing the Panama tent. So it's good to see that you're making your mark in the industry.
Both of them, I also been helping our government to put our voice out there and to start showing our productions and what we can offer as a location and as a country that have everything.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you for introducing yourself and your films. So we're going to move on, and then we'll come back around to you for the next question. So on to Edalberto. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Oh, hello. Hello, Natalie and Claire. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation. I'm delighted. My name is Edalberto Cristino. I'm a Brazilian filmmaker, and I'm living in the United Kingdom. I have on the Trendsetters category 2 films, A Brunette Kiss and Bridge Over Blue. And A Brunette Kiss is a Second World War period film that I have some really great talent attached on it, like Adrian Boucher from The Last Kingdom, Bridget Latona that won Best Award on the Warner Brothers Film Festival, and both of them as well won with two of my films. The music, for example, is from the Oscar winner Steven Warbeck.
Amazing.
He's an amazing composer, and he loved the first one that we did, that was Red Letter. That is in the Trailblazers.
Yeah, it is.
And then he agreed to make the music for the second one, that's Ebony Keys. And then Bridge Over Blue, on the same category, Trendsetters, is a lovely story. And you have the cinematographer Tony Imi that did more than 100 films as a cinematographer.
Wow.
And after seeing Red Letter, he emailed me, and we became friends, and then he did work twice with me. So Red Letter actually opened a lot of doors. And then about Red Letter is in Trailblazers, and Red Letter is a Second World War period that won 17 festivals, was nominated more than 100 times, and is the first film where Hitler is killed, and it opened an alternative reality of history. We have credits in IMDb that say that Red Letter inspired three major films in Hollywood. One of them, Inglourious Basterds. So was shortlisted for Oscar, for short BAFTA as well. So it was a film that had a really good welcome, and until today nobody has watched it that was not in festivals. Red Letter only can be seen in festivals. We decided that, and we are keeping it. So have a chance, watch it. Watch Red Letter.
Amazing.
Absolutely. What an introduction to your films.
And I love that you talking about how this film opened doors for you, because we always talk about how that's exactly what a short film should do. It should be a calling card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Use it as your business card to get more work and get people interested in what it is that you are creating.
Always looking for the next project, the next step.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's really good. Was very good, and is still a good open card. So
Nice.
So it helps a lot.
Yeah.
I would like to know more about how you got these names attached to your project as well. I know you said that some of them saw the short film and wanted to work on from there, but coming from another point of view, we always talk about when you're creating your projects to have in mind who it is that you'd like to star in those films. And it's also going to help you at a later date get a sale agent attached, get a distributor attached, and get your film 100%. To the marketplace.
Yeah, so, I just got now actually after 10 years. Sorry, I'm with sale agent on my mind, but it's not. It's an agent.
Okay.
So finally, because I used to have in Brazil an agent, and since I came to the UK, I was without. And I thought I could work without one, but finally now I'm assigned to an agent. What helps a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, of course. Well, we're going to be coming to sort of like hurdles to overcome with our next question, so I'm sure we can sort of delve deeper into some of those things that you've just mentioned there. And Kartik, could you introduce yourself and your project?
Sure. Thanks a lot, Natalie and Claire, both, for this opportunity. So to introduce myself, I come from Mumbai, India. I worked in Bank of America in IT for almost 15 years, but I always had this passion for story writing, and I always wanted to become a filmmaker. So finally, I decided to to quit my job and come to US, study filmmaking. I made this film Tervi 13th, which is a newcomers 2 short.
Yes.
Currently, it's been doing well. So this is my first short film, and the movie is about a man who tries to, who goes through the ritual of mourning for 13 days. This is as per the Hindu mythology. One has to go through this ritual to come out of someone's death. So he does that for 13 days, but he doesn't do it for someone's death, but he does it to come out of a relationship which has gone bad. He has gone through a divorce and he's trying to come out of the divorce by mourning for 13 days. You get to know about it in the end, so I'm kind of spoiling it for people. So it's an emotional story. It's a story of this man trying to cope up and trying to come out, and he succeeds in coming out of this period and sees the broad daylight. So that's the main story. This is my first film, and New York Liftoff Film Festival has given me the opportunity to showcase it to many more people who hopefully will watch it, and I'm expecting many more festivals to select it and the movie to do well
Well, you've
across all
certainly
festivals.
got a universal theme there. I think everybody can relate to that sort of narrative. So that sounds very interesting.
And I've also just got my eye on the chat room here, and there's a lot of people supporting you, Kartik, saying congratulations and go Kartik, go, which is great. And there is also
Thank
a
you.
couple of comments here for Ediberto saying, ooh, where is it? I just saw it. Oh, and there's another one saying hello from Panama to Alberto, and then
Alberto.
Ediberto. Yes, we've got someone here going, fantastic work. Can't wait to see more from you. So really positive comments going on in the chat room at the moment.
And this is great because we're going to have people watching this now from all over the world, because what a nice sort of diverse range to get the audience in, just in the same way that all the programmes are being watched from every corner of the globe.
It's literally global, so
It's very cool to see.
cool. So moving on then, Alberto.
Well, firstly, just going to jump in there and say what we're going to do now is we're just going to switch over to audio only to
Sounds great.
continue the interviews. So I'm just going to pop us over, and so we won't see you guys anymore visually, but we will obviously still be hearing you.
And we've got some wonderful headshots here from you working in the industry, and some action shots as well.
Yeah,
so-
action shots. And the names of your films there are on the screen for anyone watching this. Go
And where they can find it.
go and check out those films.
Yes. Okay, so moving on to, as Claire mentioned, problems within the industry. So, Alberto, what kind of problems have you had to overcome whilst either creating the project that you have at the moment within the festival, or just as a filmmaker in general? Any problems that you've had and you've overcome, could you please share those experiences with us?
Problem shared.
Is a problem solved?
Is a problem solved?
Well, I'm pretty much in this kind of like the same problem that most of independent filmmakers we have. One needs, always, financing and find a way to pay for your film to make it happen. And then the second is, finding the right windows, finding the distribution and the spaces that we need. And, that's what we like so much, working on festivals, because I think it's one of the best windows you can have. But yeah, those two. Going back to the first one, we have find our way, struggling and trying to shoot our stuff like really, really. I call it guerrilla style, like guerrilla style. Like
Yeah,
really
guerrilla style shooting.
small crew, really low budget. We also try to create ideas on the stuff that we have in land. They are mostly, made to be shot with small crew, with low budget movies, so we can get somewhere where we can start pushing our limits. We have all the variation on numbers that we have worked in different budgets for projects, but mostly we stay low. And then for the distribution, I actually start, being part of the international markets, as a EFM, Berlinale, San Sebastian, trying to meet people.
Yes.
Because, it's difficult to find a person that can help you, outside your country and that has the same synergy, or the energy that you have, the style that you like,
Yeah.
to put projects. So that's kind of like we've been working in the last few years, and I have found a few people that has helped us a little bit to start opening doors. And at the same time, like I mentioned before, we come from an unknown country on the film industry.
Yeah.
So that's and at the same time has helped me because there's not too many Alberto Serra filmmakers around there. So that I start seeing in this market that I get related to Alberto Serra from Panama. So that's good in somehow. So that, I think it's the two best struggles that we have to, not struggle. It's part of the deal, and like in any other business or any other industry, you have to go through. So it's fun.
How have you done any co-production work?
Well, actually, the first co-production that I did, it was local. It was between two other production companies from Panama.
Okay.
Right now, I'm moving with my next documentary. Well, actually, my next two, we're doing co-production with Uruguay and Mexico. So that's kind of like a first step. And we have one documentary that we're gonna co-produce with Spain. So yeah, I'm taking those first steps because actually at the same time, people always talk about co-production, but it's not that easy. You have to find the right people. You have to find
Of
people
course.
that have the same passion and the same drive and the same
Absolutely.
energy that you have to make it happen. More than money things. I think it's about finding the good teamwork.
So, have you found that going to the markets has been your best way of networking? Would you say? Has it been a process that you've enjoyed?
Yeah, totally, totally.
Great.
I think we start going to the markets. It has opened my eyes, has opened
It
our
sure
country
does.
to other people to understand. Because at the end, I get a lot of interest because people. I have noticed that people are always looking for something different,
Yeah.
and something that nobody knows yet. And, and this they're always looking for a new thing, a new gem, a new discovery. So it had helped me. It had helped me a lot. I have gone step by step. First, I had a film that is more like a for European background, so I kind of went to Spain in San Sebastian. Then right now I have a film that is more like for North American, let's say, audience. So I went to the AFM. So I've been moving like that, really strategically looking for the right doors.
Well, it's great that you're actively
Yeah.
searching that out. It sounds like you're doing all the right things.
And
Yeah.
you
I
mentioned
encourage.
you mentioned earlier that you are focusing on documentaries quite a bit as well. So is that the type of filmmaking that you want to solely focus on, or are you interested in narratives as well?
Well, I like both. The things like with documentary, you can always start working by yourself,
Yeah.
without really having like a budget or anything, and that's the way to keep me busy. And I love doing documentary, but I also love doing fiction.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50 thing I like, but for sure, I've been doing a lot more documentary so far. I have around 7 or 6 done already, and working in 3 more. So it's a way to to tell the stories and keep you busy. I think you learn a lot, and from what I'm doing on let's say on the rest or the fiction, it helps me because I also like the fiction to have a touch of naturalism and realism that sometimes you don't find on it. So yeah, I think I'm 50-50 for now.
Cool. Fantastic.
Amazing.
Is there anything else you'd like to add on problems that you've had to overcome?
Well, that's it. I always somehow I encourage everybody to try to go and do it. Like
Yeah.
for example, I congratulate Kartik to take that step forward to quit was all their job. I have a friend. I have 2 or 3 friends that has done the same thing. You have to if you have that passion inside to tell the story, you have to go for it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It's brave, that's for sure. But you're right. If the passion's there, then it's an easier leap to take.
Yeah, absolutely. That burning desire doesn't
Yeah.
go away. So
Yeah.
as a filmmaker, you know that I studied acting, and I still feel that desire to act every now and again, and I don't think that will ever go away. And I know that Claire's also has got her roots in the industry, and that
Yeah.
burns. We want to be creative, and I feel like you just have to do it. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
have that question hanging over you of what if?
Yeah.
What if I didn't try?
They're
So
no
you
good
can't
for
say.
anybody.
No.
Nobody wants the
No.
what ifs.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. We'll come back to you with the third question a bit later on in the interview. But moving on to Edalberto. So same question goes to you. What have you had to overcome within the industry to get to where you are now?
Yeah, well, I think like every independent filmmaker, we have many, but we have this kind of major and small ones. We have these small ones that, for example, during a project on a film, that actually helps you to become more creative. For example, for Red Letter, I even wrote that on the chat before. We were ready to start the production, but then we didn't have the budget for it. So we are shooting in 35 millimeters and a period film. So we need a lot of uniforms, guns, and a lot of things to do the Second World War period film. And suddenly we had only 5 uniforms, one can of film with 400 feet that could do 4 minutes shoot, 5 minutes stop.
Yeah.
But when you do a rate of 3-1, you shoot is like 1 minute and a half in the end. So this we managed to go around, find a film camera from the 40s, Camiflex, a French film camera that splits the negative in half. So suddenly we had we doubled the film, and then we rehearse and program everything to shoot just one take. So all the cuts, for example, we have this the guy that was disguised himself as a Nazi officer. He is putting his uniform, and we have to just have a few seconds of him putting a jacket, put a button, put the belt. So everything was already edited there on the camera, because we didn't have film to do more. And we have a brilliant editor that managed to put everything together, and the way we shot managed to look like 5 uniforms become a whole army. But we have as well like big troubles, like finance trouble and things, like when the UK Film Council closed down.
Yeah, that was sad.
We are shooting actually in that time, Timeless Eye, that was Red Letter's feature. And we got, because of all the success of Red Letter and a lot of things, we got a lot of talent on board, and we started shooting it. And we got this letter of intent of 2 million from the UK Film Council that opened our credit. So we start to get money, credit cards and money, and start to shoot, start to produce. And then they closed down the UK Film Council. That money never came. So suddenly we have the debt, no money to finish the film. Things got really very,
So what did
this
you
is
do?
one of the bad examples,
Yeah.
And you already, I was just thinking, you already haven't made life easy for yourself with an independent film, and not a huge amount of money to be making a period piece and on film.
Yeah.
So it's already trickier.
Massively.
But that is one I like very much, period, because you can really play with the photography, and
Sure.
I'm fascinated about photography, cinematography.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons. And the second one is because I had in 2005 wrote this script that was an alternative reality where Hitler was killed, and then bring a completely different world. And in 2006, 2007, I went to Cannes and Hollywood. We'd have a lot of meetings. We nearly got this production to start. And then it hit a complicated button that was the guy that kills Hitler. He is a Nazi that's fallen in love for a Jewish girl, and suddenly realized all the bullshit, all the bad things. So he completely changed. But the studios that time thought that they could not invest in a film that the main character was a Nazi. But in 2010 came Valkyria with Tom Cruise. That is the same plot, but and is a Nazi that is trying to kill Hitler. So in 2010 came as well Inglourious Basterds when Hitler is killed, and there is a scene of Red Letter that on the deleted scenes of Inglourious Basterds, we have the same scene there, and there was a scene that was shot by us 2 years before. 3 years before.
Does Quentin Tarantino know this?
Oh yeah, we have gone to America and tried to find the studio, because a lot of the ideas was using 3 different films. But it's complicated. You need a lot of money to fight this.
Yeah.
The only thing we got at that time was recognition by them that some ideas was inspired on Red Letter, but they never said about the script that they read.
It's funny, I'm not a Tom Cruise fan, but I do like Valkyrie. And when you were talking about your synopsis earlier, I was thinking it's Valkyrie succeeded.
Yeah. And but written 5 years before. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing your experiences.
Yeah.
Kartik, why don't you tell us about some of the issues that you've had to overcome?
Hi. Firstly, I think the biggest issue for me before I started my journey, as I said, was to quit a well-paying job, right? And get into this world where I wasn't sure how successful I would be eventually. So that was the first challenge, but I got a lot of support from my wife and from my family, my mom, dad, and brother. So, I could go ahead and take the steps. So that was the first step. With regards to shooting, unfortunately, we had the pandemic coming in as soon as we started the shoot. So it was difficult to continue the shoot that way. But once again, I got a good support from everyone in the crew, the actors, and every single person to be able to complete the shoot. And then I had to edit it by myself, and a lot of other things I had to do.
So had you previously had editing experience, or was this also new for you?
Yes, so editing, I had done a little bit of editing before, but it was going to be a challenge considering I was going to do it all alone because, the situation was such that I was not able to get a lot of help with regards to the same. But fortunately, I was able to, edit the film and then release the film. I got a release on an Indian distributor channel, Pocket Films. They agreed to distribute my film on YouTube, and it got decent number of views. And then applied for all these film festivals, and fortunately, a couple of them left off, and one more festival picked it up. So those things really, fortunately, worked for me. But yes, the challenge is going to be there, right? I mean, I intend to make my next short film, which is for which I would need a producer. So I'm hoping that channels like this will help me to get a producer for my next film who would be ready to finance the film and help me to make it. So
there we go.
I
Anyone
think,
in the chat room who is a producer, make yourself known now.
Yes.
Kartik is on the lookout.
Yeah,
Is
that's
this for
a
another
great
short,
way
Kartik?
network. I'm sorry?
Is this for another short, or do you have a project in mind?
Yeah, it is a short project. I have
Cool.
the script with me, and I'm almost done with all the pre-production work.
Okay.
So yeah, but we have to be careful with the shooting considering the situation now. So
Sure.
I'm planning that part out. But it's great, as you said. It's a platform where I can meet people who hopefully would be able to help me produce the film, because at the end of the day, these we independent filmmakers need to be together and help each other. So I'm hoping for that to happen, and I have a couple of feature film screenplays that I've written as well. So I'm hoping that so, once I make these short films, I would want to move to the feature films, and hoping for some producer to help me with that as well. So,
Wonderful.
Cool.
Sounds great.
thank you.
So
I can see the chat room.
yeah,
buzzing away
the chat
there.
room is going off on one. There's a few questions that I'll ask you individually in a moment. But
Cool.
Kartik, why don't you continue if there's anything else that you'd like to share, or any other problems that you've faced apart from finding the correct people to help you on your projects?
One of the challenges I had was my actor, unfortunately, because of some issue, he had to quit the last minute, just a day
no.
before the shoot. Yeah, and you would know how difficult it is for independent filmmakers to find actors, like anyone for that matter, but specifically the ones with less budget in their hand, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was very lucky to find an actor the next day, on the day of the shoot. I knew someone who was already, an actor. So
Oh, this
he
was
agreed to do the
literally on the
film,
day of the shoot.
and yeah, somehow we overcame that challenge. So that was one thing, that
How
I
did you
faced.
overcome it? Did you run on the street and find someone to help be in your film, or how did you find an actor in so short notice?
Yeah, I knew a friend, who
Okay.
was learning acting. So I just called him up. I asked him if he can spare like 2 days for me to shoot the film. So it actually took me 5 days to complete the shoot, but I needed 2 complete days. So I asked him, and fortunately he agreed to
Amazing.
do it, in the last minute. So that's how I overcame this challenge.
Well,
And
there you go. Having a network pays off.
yes, absolutely it does.
Great.
And in comparison to a lot of other filmmakers who are on this platform, I've just started my journey, so I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of challenges that I'm going to face. But I'm hoping that with all of us together in this journey, we'll be able to help each other and hopefully overcome these challenges. So
Exactly.
that's
And
what I'm hoping for.
the fact that you've made a film and now you're looking to make another film just goes to show that an ethos that we have within the company is that you're not just one film. You will learn from your journey along your filmmaking career and keep changing and keep evolving to overcome any issues that you may have passed. So yeah.
And as you said, to echo what you said, Kartik, working together as well, making this a collaborative thing.
Absolutely.
We work with a lot of emerging talent, grassroots filmmakers, have done from the beginnings of Liftoff 10 years ago. And I think you've got the right attitude there.
Thanks a lot for that. Yeah.
So I've got a few questions in the chat room here.
Cool.
So I'm just going to say one of those before we move on to the final question. Sorry, it was just a while ago I saw it. It was directed to Alberto. Oh, sorry, no, Edalberto. But we'll also ask Alberto the same question. So Edalberto, what are you working on next?
Okay, well, at the moment we are shooting this web series with really some talented children. And the idea is we are shooting everything in Zoom because of the quarantine.
Oh, wow.
So the children are in the school, but they are putting their teachers on a very short list because they are doing questions about ecology, animal fabric, industrial farming, health and food. So, and they are bringing ideas how to make it better. So the children is a very nice, very soft way to bring all these questions, to bring some new ideas, to open people's eyes, but in a funny way. And I have this really, really lovely young actors work with me. I'm not going to spoil, but the name of the web series is Quentin Quarantine.
Okay. I love that because you're so right. Children, I mean, it's just their innocence and naivety, but also their willingness to just say things very bluntly. That means I think you're right. I can just imagine the kind of humour that comes from that, and I think that sounds great.
And the fact you're shooting it via Zoom as well.
That's amazing.
It's so current. So I wish you all the best with that.
No, lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's been really fun. It's been really fun. I loved it. I will love to work with them.
Cool.
So there's someone here saying, Claire, you should feature in Kartik's next film.
Oh, Kartik, you've got my number.
Yes,
there you go.
I do.
And Alberto, same question goes to you. What are you working on next?
Okay, let's say on the documentary side, we're working in a series documentary called Changing the Game. That basically is the story of 5 women soccer players and the way how things are evolving in the world, not only in the sport, in the thing we know, giving the right space to girls in sports. And then on the other side, I'm working on a documentary also with a doctor that is working in the United States on the cure for for AIDS and VH.
Wow.
Because actually he's a Panamanian. He's been working on that for a while. And then on the feature side, I'm working on a horror film that actually it's like a format we're creating, so we can do a bunch of them and in a really low cost. And so it's kind of like that's the first one that we're shooting. We were about to shoot it on May, and then the pandemic came, so we kind of like got stuck there. So right now we're waiting to things to get better so we can go out and do it.
That sounds very cool. We love girls in sport. Natalie is an avid skateboarder, so we're all for girls in the sport space here.
Yeah,
Actually, this the documentary series is the co-production I'm doing with Uruguay and Spain,
Oh,
because
amazing.
actually we are repeating the format in every country. Like I'm taking care, I'm the co-production and director of the Panama version, and then we have for Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Spain, Japan, and everywhere in every side of the world we have a group doing the version of it. So it's going to be like a big project altogether.
And this was the football documentary.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Love an ambitious project. That's
Yeah, that
great.
sounds. I can't wait to see the
Yeah.
final project.
Yeah, nice.
Wonderful. And there's a
Well,
question
yeah,
here for everyone. So we'll start with Alberto to Edalberto and then Kartik. John Walbot asks, what cameras did you use to shoot your films?
Well, actually, I go simple as possible. I own I have a Sony FS5
Very cool.
and a Sony F5. Those basically two the ones that I mostly use. What I do normally, and I'll tell to people, you can go with a really simple camera. Just try to get like a good optics. Try
Yeah.
to use an adapter and prime lenses.
Yeah.
And that will make it. Nowadays, we have homologies in different platforms, and people always try to push in the higher formats. But you already have a market. You can shoot with a simple HD or 4K camera. You don't have to be have a big thing. So basically, yeah, FS5 and the F5 is. And when I have money, I use Ari, Alexa,
Cool.
Yeah.
and Amira. Those two.
But like you said, the Sony FS5 is wonderful. It's so lightweight and you can literally shoot
Yeah,
everything on it. So
exactly.
it's
You
great.
can do external 4K, you can put an adapter and use an ultra prime lens, and you're good to go for documentary style. It's the more
Yeah.
that I want that I use.
Perfect.
Sure.
So Edalberto, the same question for you. What did you shoot your film on? So we know it was on film, but
Yeah,
what camera did you use?
Well, the Red Letter was shot in 35 millimeters. So in that time, we are going to use, we are going to use Arri, but because we need to split the negative, like I said, we went to a very, very old camera that's from 1940.
Wow.
Camiflex, because they was the only one that would do that, to cut the negative in half. After that, we start shooting red. We use Alexa as well, but I like it very much. The Ursa Mini is very affordable. If you don't have, it's cheap to rent, and is really good quality for the camera that it is. And I have shot as well in Canon D5. That's is a really good small camera. The only thing that is not so reliable when you have a pan shot. When you have a pan shot, you can lose some frames.
Okay.
Yeah, when you have a punch shot.
Yeah, but for the web series that I'm shooting now, I'm shooting with the camera on the laptop.
Webcam.
So
Yeah.
the webcam, and it's been really fun. So you can really improvise. You don't need to stop your production because of a camera. If you write, I think it's very important to focus on your writing. If you have a good script and you have something good in your hand, you can do a lot of things even if you don't have the right camera.
Yeah, we've screened films at Liftoff, shot on iPhones before, And I'm sure you would have heard us say before that we've always put talent before money and technology here at Liftoff.
What was that? What was that quote? Put talent before the gloss.
Oh, there you
I think it was
go.
put talent before the gloss.
Yeah, that's a very good one.
Yeah.
That's a
Nice.
The,
Kartik, we have actually got the still that we've got on YouTube at the moment is you with your camera. What did you shoot to Ravin on?
I shot it with Sony FS5.
Cool.
So once again, it's simple to use, easier to use. I use prime lens with it, and I had a cinematographer who shot my film with me, Aman. So he was of great help, and so I think it was pretty simple to shoot with the Sony FS5, and I liked what Alberto just said, right? That at the end of the day, what matters is the story, the screenplay that you write, right? So, of course, the way you shoot it, the way you present it is extremely important, but focus should always be on the writing. And, that's the first step. And once you get that right, hopefully the other things will fall in place.
Totally.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
So then moving on to the final question that we have for you, and it's, where do you see your filmmaking career in 5 years' time? So, Alberto, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, what a difficult question.
What's the dream? Yeah.
But yeah, I hope I see myself maybe like Edilberto.
Yeah.
Hopefully, hitting higher and, bigger movies, complicated movies. That's, everybody, you have to decide, what's your audience and where your passion takes you. But yeah, in 5 years, I hope my stories and my films, they're more out there and, more in competing in festivals and doing a really good distribution and trying to, we have, say in Panama, we have this, you can say like, we're new in this. So we're not a big group. So everybody's kind of like pushing on trying to put or things out there. So that's like, that's kind of like one step that we already done. Like I have put stuff, but I made a movie into Netflix. I have won a few festivals, got a lot of nomination on my documentary before and all that. But we still have like a long road to go. We have a lot of work to do to try to find ourselves and find that audience and that space that we want to have.
Cool. Well, I wish you all the best and
Absolutely.
yeah. Cool. Alberto, the same question goes to you. Edilberto, sorry, you have very similar names.
Yeah, I know. Edilberto and Alberto. Yeah. Both is Berto in the end. I think where I want to be in 5 years. I think something like Alberto as well. Having had my own production company again, because with the close down the UK Film Council, that broke us, and then we still paying this debt after 10 years. So what I'm planning now is to start to build my own production, my studio, not production company because I have, but a studio. And the idea to have this studio is to work with young talent. There is so many really talented young filmmakers, cinematographers, writers that don't have much space because they don't have the money to do their own stuff. So I'm visualizing a studio that is have the aim to bring these people together, but to create films that matters. And my idea is to teach how to bring solutions to problems that we have in the world at the moment, like the web series that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
That's the children bring the ideas, the solutions for our normal common problems. So that's I want to make films that matters. I want to make films that help people to change the world for better. And I think that as a filmmakers, we have this really big responsibility that is use these tools to make something good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would just like to say on this, for example, on this web series, we have actors from Peaky Blinders, the Cursed, the new web series Cursed, Robin Hood. So yeah, and this they are all doing this. Like my producer that work with me, Rafael, they are all doing this for free, just to be together and send these messages to the world. So I think if you bring together young filmmakers, you bring together people with talent that really want to do some good, you can achieve amazing things. But yeah,
Love that.
That I agree with everything you just said. That
Completely.
sounds.
You'll have
great.
to keep us in the loop with how that's going, because that sounds super interesting.
oh, I will.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Lovely.
And Kartik, the same question goes for you. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Okay, okay. I'm a daydreamer. I know I have big dreams for myself. But yes, practically speaking, the first, when I started this venture of getting into filmmaking and learning filmmaking, uh, the first thing I wanted to do was whatever I've written so far in terms of my feature film screenplays. I have two feature film screenplays as of now. The first step for me would be to be able to find some producers, get these films produced, and release them on big screen. I want to watch my movie on a big screen. I want people to watch my movie on a big screen. I know the situation at this moment is really bleak, and it's sad that all of us can't go to the theaters and watch movies, right? I mean, I'm not saying that I don't want to make films for smaller screens. That's great as well. But at the end of the day, I would like to see my film on big screen. So that's my first step, my first ambition.
Sure.
Very much like everyone else here, I do dream of starting my own studio, starting my own production company. I, would like to work with like-minded people, work together, and collaborate and make movies. That's my dream. That's my passion. Like we say, right? Eat, drink, sleep, cinema. This is
Yeah.
what I've been doing all these years. So it's my opportunity to use this platform and say the stories that I have, and collaborate with people and help them say their stories as well. So that's my dream. I hope that uh, my wife just commented that I should make 4 films by 5 years. So it would be great, yeah, if I can make
There's another
4
comment.
films in the next 5 years, 4 feature films in the next 5 years.
There's another comment here from Raul, who says, Kartik in 5 years, signing a lot of autographs or selfies, rather, as autographs are no longer cool.
Amazing.
So, yes.
Well, you've got
Thanks a
those
lot to
amazing
all of them.
plans, and they've got those amazing plans for you.
So there's a question here
Yes.
for Edalberto saying, how did you get an Oscar-winning musician on board your films?
Good question.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Like I said before, Red Letter, I went to Cannes. I went to Hollywood. I was pitching this script that I thought that was something completely new, because you have Hitler killed, and then you have a different world. So I want to bring some new ideas to the films, and was very well received. After that, when things didn't work, I managed to convince on a film school my group to do the first 10 minutes of the script as a short film. So the beginning of the script has a flashback, and we shot this flashback as a red letter. And because Red Letter opened so many doors and was shortlisted for the Oscars, shortlisted for the BAFTA, and won so many festivals, that brought some attentions, like Tony Imi, that is an amazing cinematographer, who was, we shot 2 films, Brunei Kiss and Bridge Over Blue, and he died when we are doing the editing. But he did more than 100 films. It was amazing. So he contacted me and wanted to work together. So we worked on Brunei Kiss, and then I met Steven Warbeck, and I showed him a Brunei Red Letter, and then he agreed to do the music for me on a Brunei Kiss, and for Timeless Eye, that was the feature film of Red Letter. So yeah, actually, to be honest, it was everything started with the script. Everybody was loving the script, and then everybody loves as well the trailer. Let's call Red Letter a trailer, like 10 minutes trailer. So everybody loves the trailer of the script. So he jumped on board after watching Red Letter and read the script. He jumped on board to do the feature film, and he did as well a Brunei Kiss for us.
See, this is why it's so important to have that short film that you can use as a concept to get your feature made. So thank you for sharing.
Great.
Sharing, and then we've got one final question for all 3 of you. So we'll start with Alberto, then we'll go to Edberto, and then we'll finish off with Kartik. And that question is, what is your favorite director?
Oh.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't have one.
You've got 10, 20, yeah.
Yeah, I'm that kind of, actually, and sounds really crazy. Like, I don't enjoy actually like going to movies because I'm that kind of person that is thinking, how they did it, how much did it cost, how was it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
you can't enjoy it for the face value.
If we force you to say somebody though, for our person in the chat room, if we do really make you, who would you say?
Well, I can say maybe, I don't know, maybe, actually, I like Quentin Tarantino, like, everybody, it's kind of like you have the reference of many others, and, Spike Lee and that kind of directors that, kind of like stands out because, they have like a longer trajectory and, they have done like a lot of stuff. Even, but it's not a thing that I actually have somebody that I looked up in general, because I think you can have the reference and see the other works and how things have been done, but you have to find your own way and yourself. And I think that kind of like could make you unique. So I always when I'm going to shoot something, I look inside of me, like actually the way I would shoot it. Like for example, the movies that I'm doing right now, I really hate doing like references. Like, I'm gonna show you this ref like this or like that. I try to avoid that somehow and try to like create my own space and my own area. I don't know if I explain myself with that.
No,
amazing.
Sounds great. Well, you said Quentin Tarantino, so you did answer the question.
That's what we'll go with.
So,
and Alberto, favorite director? If the first, well, not the first one that comes to mind, but without too much thinking.
Too much thinking. Giuseppe Tornatore.
Cool.
Who made Cinema Paradiso, Italian film from the 80s.
Wow.
It's beautiful. Yeah, the script is really, really good. It's really amazing. The story of this little boy that fall in love with cinema. I think that we all that loves films, all our filmmakers, have this kind of connection anyway. But to be honest, I like so many different directors for so many different reasons. For example, I like very much Fernando Meirelles that did the City of God. I'm lucky enough to have worked with him in Brazil.
Oh wow!
And he's humble, he's talented. He's a very simple person. So I think these qualities as well. I see so many good directors that are so arrogant. For example, Tarantino. It's not because he used some ideas from from my script, but I met him in Cannes, and he was really arrogant. And that time he didn't know that we are having this process in America. But there is some. I like Spielberg because he is so innovative and it's very creative, and he can work with so many different subjects. It's not one kind of subject director. So I like a lot of different directors.
Lots of shout outs there, but that's okay.
But, yeah, so it's very hard to pinch one. But if like you said, the first come on mind, Giuseppe Tornatore.
Okay,
Wonderful.
thank you.
And same question goes to you, Kartik.
Okay, so I have this great Indian filmmaker, Yash Chopra. He's my all-time favorite. Unfortunately, he's no more in this world. But he's made a variety of films, ranging from romantic films to thrillers to, all genres, So, and he used to make movies starting 1960s. So for me, is my all-time favorite director.
Cool.
And yes, I have a lot of respect for Steven Spielberg and Quentin Tarantino as filmmakers from Hollywood. I love their movies. I love the style of Quentin Tarantino. I love the versatility of Steven Spielberg. But Yash Chopra for me would be the greatest filmmaker ever.
Cool. And Claire, who's your favorite director?
I think when that question first comes to mind, Danny Boyle just instantly comes to mind. I also love Baz Luhrmann for sort of a slightly more quirky style.
Yeah.
I mean, the visuals of like Romeo and Juliet and Moulin Rouge are just unbelievable. But like these guys, the list could go on.
Yeah.
Nat?
I would say maybe Damien Chazelle.
Nice.
Whiplash for me was just wonderful. Again, a short film that was made into a feature film, but the feature just had me hooked the whole time. So it's one of those films that actually made me sweat. So if you can do that, I'm going to definitely be interested in all your other work. So.
La La Land was a slight disappointment for me, if I'm being honest, but Whiplash just unbelievable.
Incredible.
Well, guys, thank you so much for talking to us today. We massively appreciate it, and enjoy the final week screening in the festival.
And just to add to that, the chat room has been very busy today, so if you do get a chance, I would highly recommend going back to the YouTube and answering any questions that may have been missed during this live chat.
In the comments,
yeah. So
cool.
Thank you again so much for joining us, and we look forward to following your process and seeing how your film making careers end up in 5 years' time. We'll get you back on.
Stay in touch.
Stay in touch, basically.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks a lot, Natalie.
Thanks a lot,
Claire.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a wonderful time and a wonderful opportunity. And pleasure to meet you guys, Alberto. And I'm afraid to say your name is wrong.
Kartik.
Kartik. Pleasure to meet Kartik. Pleasure to meet Albert and girls. Thank you very much. It was lovely. It was beautiful.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay, so then just to round up, I guess.
Yeah, so let's have a look on this slide of some of the things we've got coming up.
Yes, so you'll be joining us again on Friday for the third weekly roundup of how New York is happening, where we'll be pushing the films that have jumped around quite a lot in the programme. And
some of the voting is very, very close.
It is so close.
Neck and neck. So it's very exciting to see which different films will be getting shout-outs on Friday.
Absolutely. And then, as you can see there, June sessions will be going live.
July.
On Friday? Is that going live on Friday?
July sessions is live.
Oh, sorry, it is live.
It's July.
So much going on. Yes. So if you are involved in that, please let us know how you're getting on.
Yeah.
And I can see there that we've got, is it 7 programs or 8?
We've got 8 short programs and features.
Wow, it's incredible just to see how much is
I know.
happening.
And then the first time Filmmaker sessions, July, goes live on Sunday.
So this is the one that I was thinking about. We've just been processing it. So
yeah, that's nearly ready to go. Full of new talent, first time films. So everything's happening here at Lift Off. Stay tuned.
Yes, so that's a goodbye from me. Goodbye from Rupert, who's been asleep on my lap this whole session.
And goodbye from me. Thank
see
you
you
so
on
much,
Friday.
everybody. Bye.